Millhaven on KTRS.
It's 840, Big 550 KTRS. Every Monday, we like to check in with our friends from the Show Me Institute, policy analyst, or Show Me Institute, a think tank here. John Wright filling in for Mr. Miller, who is a bit, under the weather?
Yeah, I think he's sick.
Yeah, I think he's afraid of me is actually the real answer. But, of course, he's, under the weather. All right, John Wright, you're a Show Me Institute policy analyst. You want to talk about the mapping agency, right?
Yeah, the NGA and the proposed use of eminent domain in North St. Louis.
Great idea. Get them out and let's get that company in there and a whole bunch of jobs.
Well, first of all, they're not creating new jobs here.
Right.
They're just trying to save the NGA, keep the NGA in the city.
Right.
The NGA is considering moving over to Illinois to Scott Air Force Base. It'll still be in the region.
Or down to Fenton.
Or down to Fenton.
Right.
I think there's another proposal somewhere in the county as well.
Right.
The city of St. Louis wants to keep it in the city.
Sure.
So it's not new jobs. It's just moving the thing around.
Right.
Secondly, kicking people out of their homes is what we're talking about here.
Right.
I mean, it's something.
Well, how big of the eminent domain? I mean, how many people are going to have to be relocated? How many people's homes are they going to have to buy out?
So I'm not sure how many people. I know it's about 35 to 50 families or households.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these people are retired folks on a fixed income. Some of them are families with children.
Right.
So, we could be looking at maybe 100 people who are going to lose their home over this.
Right.
And kicking people out of their home just to move around a federal agency that doesn't need to be there, that's just not right.
So they don't just come and take the house and put them on the street. They have to give them just compensation for their home. So what's so terrible?
Well, they're giving them what's called fair market value. And this is a neighborhood in North St. Louis where the property values are very depressed. Now, the homes are really nice. They're 19th century Victorian homes, 2 or 3 stories, crown molding, cast iron gates, things like that. The sort of house you'd see over in Soulard.
Right.
But the neighborhood is such that nobody wants to move into the area.
Right.
So the property values are something like $20,000. So if you got somebody who's lived in a 3-story Victorian for decades,
mm-hmm.
and they're on a fixed income, now you're going to give them $20,000 and say find something new. They're not going to be able to move to a similar kind of arrangement. They're going to have to move to a neighborhood where they don't feel safe, where they don't know people, and they're going to have to. They may have to live in an apartment or something like that. I mean,
the other thing is the person who lives just on the other side of the street of the mapping agency, their house's value is going to go up.
Presumably.
Right, because it's a safer, better neighborhood with all of these jobs coming.
Well,
whereas the person who loses the house, they get paid $20,000. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Yeah, and I think it's even worse than that. I mean, the city is saying that this is going to revitalize the area, but it's a spy agency. If you see how these spy agencies move in, they don't want people going out on their lunch break and patronizing local businesses. They have cafeterias. They keep people inside. And they'll be surrounded by barbed wire fences and things like that. So it's...
why wasn't the eminent domain issue brought up during the whole football stadium debate, right? How come no one was complaining about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. I know they had options to buy some of the land,
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they were going to use eminent domain or not. I can't imagine every single person lined up and was ready to sort of fork it over, or were they offering so much more than market value that it was worth their while?
I'm not sure. I seem to remember there was an eminent domain issue, but there were so many other issues involved there, such as the payout to Stan Kroenke and
Right.
kind of that corporate welfare thing that issue may have been overshadowed.
So where are we in this? Is it a done deal? Are they still proposing it? Where are we in this process?
So it's not a done deal yet. It looks like in a month or a month or two, very shortly, the NGA will reach a decision on where they want to relocate to.
Right.
And then if they decide they're going to relocate to North St. Louis, then the city will come to them and probably use eminent domain to kick these people out of their homes.
They're going to threaten to use eminent domain.
They've already appointed a judge who's appointed a panel who's evaluating the properties for the amount of just compensation they'd pay these people. So
Right.
the eminent domain proceeding is underway. People could be out of their homes as early as June.
Donald Trump has used eminent domain, and he doesn't have a problem with it. He likes it.
Yeah, I know he used eminent domain in New Jersey a few years
He
back.
He uses it whatever he needs it. But so, I mean, if it's okay for Donald Trump, why isn't it good for the city of St. Louis?
Well, Donald Trump's a whole nother thing. I mean, this is we're talking about kicking people out of their homes. Sometimes these are family homes that have been in the family for multiple generations. It's just not right to do this for what? When you've got another place you could put the NGA, you're kicking folks out of their property.
John Wright, Show Me Institute policy analyst. You have more on this at the website?
Yes, we've shot some interviews with some of these folks, and hopefully we'll have some videos up allowing them to tell their stories.
Are any of them upset about having to be forced to move?
Oh yeah, people are very upset. I've spoke to all last week. I was up in that neighborhood, and people are just
very upset.
Very upset about it.
Oddly enough, they're not getting through in terms of media attention, right? Their voices aren't being necessarily heard.
Yeah, they're not. I know that Maria Altman at St. Louis Public Radio did a story covering this, so she's on it, but I haven't seen much from many of the other local publications.
John Wright, Show Me Institute policy analyst. What's the website?
ShowMeInstitute.org.
You're way better than David Stokes.
Thanks.
All right, 8:45 here, Big 550 KTRS. Can I tell you about low T? I'll tell you about low